Patrick Mahomes is basically God playing quarterback.
Chiefs Kingdom
Live.
So on, Eddie, what's hot? Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
Yeah, when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper and go get it.
It's Mahomes' house, and it is good. Woo! Arrowhead man. The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection. You gotta fight for your right to party.
Let's go!
Howdy, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would, real quick, before you forget, click or tap that like, click or tap that subscribe. Maybe tell some friends, tell some family, tell some Chiefs fans, help spread the word. We'd sure appreciate it. Got a good show. Tell the mailman, tell anybody. I mean, you know, fly a banner, get one of those planes. Like, remember the plane that they flew over the stadium? It was like, fire Pioli and save our Chiefs and shit. Man, how far have we come from those days? But yeah, if you want to fly hire a pilot to fly a banner around your neighborhood or city that says Chiefs Kingdom Live, watch the show. We sure appreciate that, no doubt.
Or just tell a friend so that we can get our budget up and then get our own plane, so you guys don't have to do that.
That too. We got a good show lined up. Chiefs training camp is underway officially, 100% up in St. Joe. We got some we got some not so good news coming out of training camp. We're going to get to it all here tonight. Looks like we got a bunch of people in the chat already. Big Doug, Maria. I think I saw Brenda in there checking in. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining us.
Everybody.
Make sure you leave a comment or put a question in there. It makes the show a lot more fun for us. I mean, we could sit here and the three of us can talk about the Chiefs with nobody watching, but that would be as fun, right? We can still do it. But,
we do.
And we do. So I talk about the Chiefs to myself when no one's around. I'm at home alone. So, but yeah, fellas, before we get into the show, how are we doing, Bo? You're still looking like you're down there in the Southwest, down there in Flagstaff?
Still enjoying this little perfect pocket of weather down here. It's rainy out, 70 degrees, while the rest of Arizona is 118. I don't know how I did it, but yeah, it's amazing. No, I'm doing great, man. Like you said, watching all the videos coming out of training camp. I think it's our third day, but I think it's officially the first day for like all teams, or like, you know, everybody's in training camp now. So football has started. So I am excellent. So much real new content to watch. I know it's only training camp and everything, but I text you guys earlier. I am way too excited for what I'm seeing right now. There's just there's a slight little difference that I'm noticing in this training camp footage than last year's, but we'll get into that. I'm doing great. How are you doing, Nick?
I'm good, man. Kiddos are with grandparents this week down in the great state of Oklahoma. So it's just me and the wife have been kidless this week. Good times, and we're doing a little painting of the house. So our kitchen is absolutely destroyed right now. But, you know, other than that, it's good, man. What about you, Scotty?
Doing real well. No complaints. Life is good. Bo, you said it's like underway and you're seeing the footage, and Patrick Mahomes is out there throwing the ball around. And so, I mean, we can officially say the quest for the three-peat is underway up in St. Joe at Chiefs training camp. I mean, I always like to get the bad news before the good news, right? So let's just get that out of the way.
Let's rip that Band-Aid off.
Chiefs are getting bit by the injury bug early this year in training camp.
A little bit.
They've been pretty fortunate the last few years, right, in training camp and during the season, avoiding lots of injuries, avoiding major injuries to key players. I mean, it's football. There's always guys that are going to go down, and you can't avoid it 100%. But, I mean, how many years have we seen teams like the Chargers, right, just have guy after guy after guy lost to the season or lost for multiple weeks, right, into the regular season, missing the preseason with injuries. Nick, you concerned a little bit the pendulum maybe is swinging back the other way, and maybe some of the Chiefs' good fortunes running out with these injuries?
I mean, yeah, Justin Reed, definitely not a guy you want to see like go down, right? And you know, just hoping that everybody it's not super serious and that everybody's heals up quickly, just for them as much as for the team. But Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but I think this is just like the cost of doing business a little bit, where some a tough training camp compared to the rest of the league. And so what you're hoping is that you're gonna have some injuries. It happens every year, but that what they're doing now is going to pay dividends later in the season, when everybody else starts to get worn down and they're in better physical shape. But I think it's a little too early to say that they've swung all the way to Chargers level, right, of players getting injured. So, but like concern. I mean, one of the things that so I with all my free time, I was watching some of the old franchise episodes, and Justin Reed was sticking out in some of those as far as just the plays that he made and his leadership on the team. And he brings a lot to that defense as far as attitude and mental toughness and stuff. So we hope he comes back. It was tough seeing our guy Jay Watt. We've been talking about him almost every week, it seems, and what's his season going to look like. And I haven't seen anything other than the play where it looks like he injured his ankle or knee or something. Looks like a foot got caught on the field. So we just hope it's nothing too serious and that they're back soon.
I have that.
So
I think I have that video. I can bring that up real quick.
Yeah. Are you, Scott? Are you concerned that this is like the year where everybody gets hurt? Oh. Yeah, it looked like that knee just caught.
Yeah, in the turf, non-contact injury.
Or that foot caught and twisted his knee. So
yeah, I think they said that they took these guys off in the cart. That's almost everybody nowadays, especially with the way the Chiefs practice field is set up, right? Like they got to go up that big hill. If you've ever been to Chiefs training camp, or if you watch their social media or hear them talking about it, right? They say up the hill, and I think the Chiefs even do some walks and some talks with the guys, and Mitch Holthus and them do that. So that's not a huge concern that the guy's getting carted off. It seems like almost anybody that misses any time with any kind of injury nowadays gets carted off. But
yeah, it's more protocol.
Look, it's early in camp, and you've got two veteran guys, Jay Watt and Justin Reed. You got Nazeeh Johnson, who is a guy that is in the secondary, missed time with an injury. I think he ended up missing the whole season last year with a knee injury. L'Jarius Sneed is gone. Nick, you're talking about watching some episodes of the franchise. I caught a couple the other night too when I was getting ready to get to bed or whatever. And, like they were showing L'Jarius Sneed, and I was like, oh man, he's gone. Like it was like crushed me, dude.
So
many fucking disappointing.
Clutch moments that guy had.
Right, God, that guy was such a badass. But no, it's just one of those things. I think they were looking at a guy like Nazeeh Johnson to fill that role and kind of step in and kind of fill that void a little bit. You don't want to see it early like this. And I guess maybe if it's early, that gives you as much time as possible to heal up. But, it's just one of those things where it seems like when you're really, really lucky and you got things rolling for a while, then when it comes back around the other way, right, that pendulum kind of swings like I was saying earlier. But I don't think the season is lost. I'm not trying to overreact. The Nazeeh Johnson injury, it turns out later on, they said it was completely precautionary and that he should be good. The Justin Watson injury, we don't really have any info on that. Justin Reed, I believe he put a post out on social media saying this thing has set me back. And a guy like that, he's a tough dude, right? I mean, to play that safety position in the defense, it's going to take a lot to keep that guy off of the field. I guess one thing I will say is if you're going to get some injuries early to guys or to guys at all, veteran guys are familiar with the system, right? They've played, they're kind of have that, they've gelled with the guys around them here the last couple of years being on the team. So training camp maybe isn't as important for those guys as maybe some of the new guys and the rookies as far as learning the plays and getting on the same page with your teammates and your coaches and getting those reps in. So I guess if you want to say there's like a silver lining to the injury situation, maybe if you're missing some guys early and it's veteran guys, maybe the impact is less severe than if it was some younger guys or guys that weren't as familiar. hadn't been around as long. Justin Watson last year, people were expecting Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney to be the guys, right? And Justin Watson was the guy until Rashee Rice kind of got his stride, right? And got going in the second half and later on in the year into the playoffs. The Chiefs leaned on Justin Watson early last year. I want to say going into week 5 or 6 or 7, he was the leading receiver on the team, and he was the one making the big plays and the big moments and moving the chains. So that's a guy I definitely don't want to see miss a lot of time, because Rashee Rice, right, is possibly looking at a suspension. He's a veteran guy. He's familiar with the system. I know Patrick Mahomes likes Justin Watson. The coaching staff always talks really well about Justin Watson. So he's not a guy I want to see missing time. Right. Fingers crossed, prayers up for J. Watt and Justin Reed and Nazi and these other guys that are
looks like
going
to a foot injury is what everybody's saying. So
yeah, that's kind of
for
what was
Nazi.
going on earlier. No, for Justin Watson.
Okay.
Nazi Johnson, it was a leg injury, and that was the injury. That was the leg that he had the torn ACL in last year. But again, they came out and said that was totally precautionary that they took him off. So some guys going down early. Hopefully, that's about all we see. And
these injuries, I don't think it's like unfamiliar space to see like injuries come up in training camp, right? I mean, it's the nature of the sport. We see it all the time. I think the more concerning thing is just the guys that are going down in the position groups that they may or may not affect, essentially, right? I completely agree with you. It's super early. That's really fortunate, right? This is way better than late August, season's right around the corner kind of thing. They have a lot of time to rehab it, get back there. Justin Reed alluded to, setbacks make comebacks, and it shouldn't take too long kind of thing. So that's always good news. I just think it's, everybody's concern this year is like we got all these weapons on offense. I mean, the J. Watt thing, he was super consistent, but I don't think that's as concerning as the other two guys going down, right? That's a position group where we're just like, wow, we're kind of we let a guy go in that group, and that was a all-star studded group last year, and it's kind of just a little nerve-wracking to see, some guys go down, whether it be, we don't know the extent. I think you're right. A lot of what we see with the getting card off and the braces and stuff that they wear is a lot more precautionary than anything. And having played football and soccer, I know there's some injuries that you get that, you just kind of call them stingers, right? Because they're not going to affect you all season, but man, do they hurt. And you'll go down and you'll be like, but a couple weeks later, that doesn't feel too bad. But I think it's just more or less those position groups going down, and we're just kind of like, oh man, we do not need our secondary and the defense going down at all.
Yeah. Nick, anything else you want to touch on with injuries?
No, we went into the season last year with Travis Kelce hurt, right? And he, and so, and we won the Super Bowl. So I earlier, I know I said J. Watt in our text thread. I was like, J. Watt, hype train, RIP or something. Scott's like, we don't even know what happened yet. And I was like,
one video and you're jumping
one
off
video.
the cliff.
The video didn't look good in my defense.
That did not look great.
But I just, it's just so early, right? And, so we'll see. But it's definitely Reed he's a key guy on the defense. He does a lot of directing traffic and those sorts of things. So,
and we've talked about before, the Chiefs have a top-notch A-plus medical staff that has shown their ability to get guys rehabbed and back from injury in impressive and fashion and really quickly. So,
Rick Burkholder follows us on X. No big deal. But
he does. I try to get him on the show sometime.
But our man Lego, what's up, Lego? Thanks for stopping
Lego. I saw man John C's checking in. Kevin was in the chat.
John C.
I think I saw lighting. It looks like maybe someone new was in there. Maybe we'll see Susan pop up here soon. Some of the rest. So let's move on from the bad and let's get to the good.
Let's get to this good stuff.
There's been some good.
There's been some good. There's been a lot of good. More good than bad. More good than bad. The Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes looking like he's liking some of these new weapons he's got. Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, the speedsters out of Texas. Hollywood Brown's not. He's not slow either. He's a speedster too. But I mean, Xavier Worthy set a record, right, for a 40 time at the combine. There's all kinds of videos of and content galore out there. The Chiefs airing it out. Bo, I know you have been maybe more pumped than the rest of us, and liking what you're seeing, aren't you?
Oh yeah, man. It's like watching Patrick Mahomes of old. I mean, that's weird to say because he's only been around 5-6 years, right? But
Right.
I mean, getting out there, throwing the ball downfield, and then just the routes he's having with these guys. I mean, this is just training camp day 3. I'm getting way too excited over this footage, but I mean, I see a spark, and I feel the spark. I see it. I mean, just you already mentioned the balls he's throwing to Xavier Worthy and Marquise Brown. Like deep balls that are on point to the guy. They're catching it, right? What more can you ask for from our receiving core than them to actually just catch the freaking ball? It's been a point of contention for that group for a while now. But then just the regular drills, like watching him throw to all the tight ends. I mean, Kelsey's still got it. There's plenty of highlights of him coming out, but all the other tight ends are getting plenty of reps, looking really good. That offense just looks like it's clicking. And the defense isn't trying to let up right now. I mean, they're trying to earn spots too, and that defense is going full clip to the point where it's getting a little physical in some of the highlight reels I've seen out there. Guys are going really hard. I don't even know if they have pads fully on yet, but no, I'm super excited to see what's going on. I'm really enjoying the footage coming out of camp, especially on the offensive side.
We saw a little bit of that fire last year in camp, right? Kelsey was getting into it with some of them guys, and the defenders smacking at the ball, and there was some tempers flaring last year.
Yeah.
Nick, the videos and the footage of the Chiefs going over the top here in training camp, is that a sign of things to come? Or are we going to see that kind of get back to that? I don't know if we'll call it like the Legion of Zoom or whatever it was they were calling them when they had Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman and Sammy Watkins and guys, but it looks like they got some burners that are making plays down the field.
Yeah, I think what's exciting for me is just seeing that they're coming out firing, even at training camp, right? That it looks like they're going for it this year, and they're locked in. They're not going to rest on their laurels. They know that. I mean, look, they probably get one shot at a three-peat, right? I mean, because to get back there, you don't have to just win one Super Bowl. You got to win back-to-back Super Bowls again. And so I think that's the exciting thing is you see them coming out. They kind of swung big on Xavier Worthy in the draft. It's like they went for the fastest guy. Thanks, Tony, for the trade up from the Bills there for Worthy.
Yeah. Our man Tony.
And we're
what's up, Tony?
We're just seeing some. We're just seeing some big plays right away, man. It's just exciting. I feel exactly how you feel, and John C. I see what you're saying here. I got news for you, man. If the Chiefs go back to the Super Bowl this year, I already got the clear from Mississippi. We're going. So we're gonna go down to New Orleans. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna make it happen. So it's exciting to see the plays, man. And Mahomes, his deep ball, and I don't know if it's his receivers not reading the play right, or he's throwing the ball, but his deep ball just really hasn't been that effective, even when they've gone for it. There's a couple of big plays. He had that bomb in the Super Bowl. They won the AFC Championship game with the bomb, so it's not like it's totally gone away. But it's looking like he's got some guys that can track that ball down and catch it. And I'm excited to see some air yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Chiefs' deep threat last year was MVS, right? And mixed bag with him and catching the ball, right? So look, I always think it's funny too when you're watching these highlights and you're watching Patrick Mahomes and these receivers lighting it up deep, and you're kind of like, well, that's our defense, our secondary getting burned, right? Is that a good sign? Is that like a bad sign for the defense, or is that just a good sign for the offense? But Patrick Mahomes, he's been hearing the talk here the last couple of years, and let's see what he does at Tyreek Hill, and he can't throw the deep ball anymore, and the Chiefs are dink and dunk, and they're checking it down and taking what the defense gives them. Patrick Mahomes is smart enough and wants to win and is willing to do what it takes to win. But in the back of his mind, this last year or two, he's been itching to air it out, right? The guy likes to air it out. He's a gunslinger. He's got the arm to do it. He's got the accuracy. So, I think they are fine-tuning that thing early, and they are saying we are going to get back to these big chunk plays and these bombs that really, that put Patrick Mahomes on the map, right? His first year as
You're
a starter.
so right. How many games did we watch him just get absolutely frustrated with the receiving core, either running the wrong route, whether it's just inside, outside, just like a couple degree difference, but then not being able to have that long throw and everything. Just you'd see the frustration, his mannerisms as he's going to the sidelines. Just this guy is not happy with his position group, and I think that was we still won the Super Bowl. It's so hard. It's like a Ferrari owner complaining about his Ferrari, like, oh man, it kind of pulls to the left if you're going over 90 or something like that, right? Like it's kind of one of those things. But at the same time, it's one of those things that like everybody was hounding on, that like this is the clear and obvious chink in our armor, so to say, that we didn't have a deep threat and our receiving core was trash, and yet Mahomes was still able to win a Super Bowl, right? So like that's going to be like the talking point from that on. And so watching this receiving group, like I said, just be able to catch the ball, and whether it be a long ball or these little 10, 15-yard routes that they're just practicing over and over again is just it's inspiring to watch from the years past receiving group.
Yeah, Matt Nagy's even commented on it, right? About, we want to air it out. We want to throw the ball deep. We want to get back to doing that. That's what Patrick likes to do, and that's what he wants to do. Patrick kind of had said last year wasn't as fun, right? During the regular season, guys were kind of bored. I think the offense, it was effective, but it wasn't like the shock and awe, right, of past days. And look, like when you're Patrick Mahomes and you burst on the scene and you throw 50 touchdowns and you have 5,000 yards passing, you want to keep getting back to that. So it's looking good, man. Like the early dividends look like they're paying off with Hollywood Brown and with Xavier Worthy. The hamstring issue, maybe. It looks like we were talking about injuries earlier.
Fucking Tony. Look at this troll in the chat right now.
I thought
he thinks it's going to be the Chiefs, laughable. Broncos, then the Raiders, and the Chargers last. I mean, that makes sense.
Our man Tony is having a little bit of fun with us there, but I think Tony's been hacked by a Russian bot.
That sounds like a cheap fake, Tony. Right there.
Sounds like he's got one of those RFK brain worms.
Yeah, that's a crazy story. Like, you put that out there? Anyway, that's getting off topic here. I hope everything's going good with you, Tony. Appreciate you tuning in, man, even if you're going to blast us here a little bit. But
always welcome, my man. Always
we need to get one of those chat moderators here if we're going to start getting big time, right, and filter this garbage out.
Hey, if you look at the highlights from that divisional round, I forgot totally that right before Bass kicked that game-losing field goal attempt, that like Jim Nantz is sitting there and he's like, well, you missed 3 last week, and the coach says that if the game's on the line, he has utmost faith in him, and it's no good. Wide right. It's just like, oh man, it's perfect. This is perfect.
Yeah, the old
right.
I think we should play that audio every time a comment from Tony pops up here in the chat.
Oh man, that would be so great! Just every time, or just this
watch
one.
this go again.
Yeah, it looks like our payback's working on Tony here. It looks like we're getting a little sick to his stomach. So
I think that was Korean.
I'd be interested to see, Tony, how you feeling about your Bills, man? I honestly, how are you thinking that the Stephon Diggs has moved on? Gabe Davis is gone. They're kind of changing some things up there in Buffalo. Got some youth coming in. The youth movement maybe is a little bit underway. I'll be interested to see what Tony thinks about his Bills. Yeah, Big Doug, laces out.
Laces out, man.
Right. The laces were in. Dan Marino's like, he's holding a gun to his head. He's like, no, they weren't. Like, that was my fault. But that Dan Marino can die of gonorrhea and rotten hell.
Would you like a cookie?
Cookie.
A little bubbles.
Laces out. That movie. Didn't we go watch that when it came out in theaters for like your brother or your birthday or something? I want to
Probably,
say,
man.
so long ago now, but yeah, one of the classic football movies, Ace Ventura. God, that movie's so funny. But
I'm looking for Ray Finkel and a clean pair of shorts.
looks like Tony's not quite as optimistic as he's been years past. So, like Josh Allen's still like one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. So,
I mean, if he throws a 65-yard pass to MVS in the playoffs, based on recent history, he's not going to drop it. So,
no.
he'll drop it in the regular season, but he won't drop it in the postseason.
Right.
Well, Nick, there was that one time the defender was on his back, and he probably would have caught that one.
Yeah, he probably would have. I mean, you get tackled before the ball gets there. I mean, what's the problem with that though? That's that old '80s defense, right? Back in the day when you could do everything except take a crowbar out there on the field and beat the receiver over the head with it. But I've seen some people talking too about the rookie tight end Wiley and line up some 2 tight end sets with Travis Kelce. That's getting some people's attention. So
I don't think that's far fetched.
no,
We've seen a lot of like tight end bunches and a lot of like weird plays with 3. I think did they run one with 4 once?
Oh no, Andy Reid loves, dude. I mean, Andy Reid, if there's something that he loves almost as much as cheeseburgers, I think it's 3 and 4 tight end sets, right, man? I mean, that dude
used to be fullbacks and tight ends. Now it's just tight ends.
Right. Unfortunately, Jody Fortson, I think, is a guy they really had high hopes for and big plans for, and injuries really just derailed that whole train. Right.
Dude, when you're that tall and you have an Achilles injury, I think that's almost insurmountable.
I mean, the dude was made plays. I mean, that play he made against the Chargers, that catch and throw, and I want to say it was against Washington. He had a sick play right, and then I think it ended up actually getting hurt later in that game. But yeah, that's something the Chiefs, I think they've been wanting to do, and they've been trying to fill that position. It's just they haven't found that guy. I think when they drafted Noah Gray, I think that was part of the plan. And Noah Gray's been a good player and been a contributor on back-to-back Super Bowl champions. So, like, look, he's no slouch, but he's also not really been a guy that has flashed and really like unlocked that 2 and 3 tight end set and those formations that Andy Reid's been known for and loves to run.
Yeah, but like I completely agree, but I feel like we like need that too, especially at that position group, right? Like you need somebody that's not so flashy that teams are going to pay attention to him, but you also need a guy that's good enough that's going to produce for you when you need him. And that's exactly what that guy is. He just flies under the radar a little bit, but you know, he also provides the depth at that position group that we need, like a just in case guy, you know. And,
right.
Super good ace in the hole.
What round did they draft Noah Gray in? Was that the 3rd round?
He was the 3rd.
2nd or 3rd round? Look, man, that's not like 3rd round pick ain't a 1st, but it ain't a 6th either. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a guy that they went after.
5th round.
5th round, yeah.
Man, why was I thinking they drafted him earlier than the 5th round? He played at Duke, right?
That doesn't say right off the bat like the other one does.
Yeah. Anyway, well, maybe he's not as high of a draft pick.
Yep.
Man, I had the school. Why was I thinking that guy? I was thinking he was like a 3rd round.
Come on,
pick.
bro, get it together here.
But,
get it together.
Well, hey, Nick said 3rd round
third
too.
line,
Okay,
so
but
stats here.
But yeah, and like I said, Jody Fortson, man, he's on the Dolphins now. That was Nick's guy. I know. I mean, we all liked him, but Nick was really like the guy was athletic and he was big and he was fast and he was strong. And injuries, man, like it's
too, right.
What's that?
I'm a sucker for players with good stories.
Right. No, yeah.
He just he came back from that injury, and they even had a franchise episode that kind of centered around him, and
he was undrafted, right?
Yeah, he's undrafted.
Small school.
The guy just came in and he looked great, but just sometimes it's unlucky and it's a tough game, man. Like some people's bodies just don't hold up for whatever reason. It's crazy, and you think about like we were talking about last week. We were talking about receiver a little bit. I didn't realize how injured George Kittle was, right, going into the Super Bowl, and I forgot or just didn't remember that. That he forgot or didn't remember, one of the two. It's both the same thing, but that he went into the locker room like on their last drive there and like came out for overtime, and I guess they gave him an injection in his shoulder because he couldn't raise his shoulder above his head, and he took himself out. Like it's so tough to play that sport and keep your body at a level where you can play. So that's when you look at people like Travis Kelce, that's minimal gains right over his career. It's really incredible. It's a testament to the hard work and toughness, right? And then also, like you said, probably training staff and some of the Redmonds. But yeah, it's unfortunate that his body didn't hold up because I think that he had the potential to be a really good player.
Yeah, I don't know if Bo, I don't know if you're like Nick's muffled, the rest of you guys, but he's a little muffled on me here, so I don't know.
All right, let me drop out. I'll be right back.
But I mean, look, I didn't give the guy the nickname George Brittle for nothing. Okay, the guy he's been hurt a lot, and he's had some really good seasons, and he's a hell of a player. But he's a guy that's faced and injuries have held him back from probably being even better and greater than he's been. Right.
You know what I really appreciate about the Netflix series wide receivers and even the quarterback one season before that was as Nick was saying, like you really see how fortunate it is for these guys to play and not get injured. And then the ones who like understand that it's their one and only shot. The ones that understand that like it's their only shot, right? And if like they can play, they're going to. And with quarterbacks, you saw Kirk Cousins, and then who was the other guy? No, they had Mark Smith. It was Kirk Cousins that was playing injured, and you just realize like what they play through, And same thing with George Kittle in this season. It's one of those sports where, like we kind of mentioned at the beginning of the hour, where it's not surprising when somebody gets injured. You just don't want to see that.
It's so funny when you talk for like 2 minutes straight, and then you just find out that your voice is just total garbage.
No, I mean, I could hear most of what you were saying. I mean, it
just sounds like you did this and then started talking.
Well, I got the gold dot facing me, so at least I didn't do that again.
Yeah, microwave. It always helps when the
Mike's
microphone's facing the right direction.
Unmuted.
So,
front towards me.
John C., the resident comedian here on Chiefs Kingdom Live. He's always got the one-liners and
Dick Tracy film's the best.
Right. Yeah. No, that's funny, man. Dick Tracy. We're going way back now. We're talking about Ace Ventura. We're talking about Dick Tracy. And
it's the name of my Apple Watch on my phone is Dick Tracy.
There you go.
Cool watch.
Right. Yeah. No, it was like the futuristic, right? Like Dick Tracy had the watch where he could talk to people on it.
He had the first Apple Watch.
Right now, everybody's got one of those. I don't have one, but everybody else has got one. But Mumbles, yeah, that was the guy's name, I think, actually.
Hey,
go back, man. I
can't wait to get that nickname adopted for forever.
What'd you say? I couldn't hear you.
One of these days, Scotty.
You sound a little mumbly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit this show.
Screw you guys.
I don't even get paid to do this.
Right.
You do now, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna split that 5 cents. Okay.
Get paid in insults.
We're gonna do it.
Business is booming.
Right.
All right. Sorry, I derailed the conversation there.
Nah, you're good. You're all good. Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else going on in training camp you guys have noticed you want to get into, or
No, shout out to all the Cheese Kingdom making it out there and posting stuff on
Yeah.
X so that I can watch it from out here in Arizona. It's almost like I'm there. And the Mitch Holthus and the other guy, can't remember his name right off the top of my head, Matt something. They had their podcast out there, and
Thanks,
man,
John.
like I said, I'm just eager for football season now. It was a great little satisfactory bite into the football apple.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed. I didn't get the notification email. Didn't come through that tickets for training camp were available until like after the season ticket member day was like sold out. So I didn't get to go up there. It pissed me off, to be honest with you. Like took the day off work and everything. But
You were
Yeah,
talking
no.
about that up the hill at training camp, right? Did you guys see Carson Wentz almost go down the hill?
No, that's funny.
He's
Uh,
kind of. I guess they're just walking out. All the quarterbacks are at, and he almost just says "whoop" on it, cleats and slippery surface,
Right.
incline.
so we're sitting there watching TV last night, and Stephanie's like, "Oh, did you hear Mahomes got hurt at training camp?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, I saw something
funny.
about him having stitches or something." And like, dude, so I'm googling it, and the article was
Mahomes and
about
stitches.
Carson Wentz fell, and he had
I
Mahomes
love
in
the
stitches.
internet, but I hate it sometimes.
And I was just like, "Oh, thank you, God."
Right.
Your heart just sinks. Like, wait, what? Huh?
Thanks,
Yeah,
thanks, wife.
Heart sunk like when the notification came through on my phone a couple seasons ago. It was like breaking Chiefs, like rumored to be trading Tyreek Hill, and I was like, wait, what? Like, there's no way.
Yeah, I thought that was bullshit too, man. Just like, oh. Yeah.
And then it was literally like, wasn't even an hour later. It was like Chiefs trade Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. But hey, man, to their credit, right? Speaking of Tyreek Hill, it's looking like maybe he's wanting a new contract. And there's like a
kids, man.
Oh yeah, he's got to pay for all them kids. But
I now know why he's money chasing and not ring chasing. He's
right.
like what, 12th kid?
Dude, I don't.
I saw it's up to 12, man.
Yeah,
somebody did like an AI deep fake of what's the coach's name?
Oh,
McDaniels or
Mike McDaniel. Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty funny.
It's a good. Yeah. It's funny deep fake.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to gossip too much about Tyreek Hill's like personal life and family life, right? But he's like got some sort of trade thing with the Dolphins. There's a story of that, and he might be looking for a new contract now that all these other receivers have gotten these big money deals. So look, Chiefs. I mean, they made the right move there, right? But I'll remember. I'll never forget. Like, I was sitting in my office and like my phone, the thing popped up on the screen, and I was like, "That can't be real. That's got to be." Like, who's that? Mike Florio? Like,
it still doesn't really make sense, but it still. I mean, it's just like, yeah, good troll internet. Yeah, I've seen these stories from The Onion and Salon.com and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how many kids Tyreek Hill's got, but he's trying to break Antonio Rogers Cromartie's record, I think. Number of kids. And hey, look,
that cheap fake. He's averaging one every 800 yards.
Right. Yeah. There you go. All right. So, but yeah, I don't know. Just like I always like hate to wish summer away, right? But at the same time, like you start getting ready for football season, and you see Patrick out there zipping the ball around, and like see guys making plays or whatever. Just remember, Nick, if you go to that Super Bowl in New Orleans, who took you all those AC championship games?
Somebody's got to call in their tab on all those tickets that you got to go to.
And the NFL kickoff games and all the playoff games. And
all the memorable games you guys love to brag about, 13-second
the 13-second game. I mean, I'm just saying. Like,
hey, Nick,
it's
worth it, man. Watching the Chiefs win a Super Bowl.
I'll make sure to FaceTime you from the Super Bowl.
You'll make sure to FaceTime me. Do one of those like COVID cutout things, like print one of those big head pictures of me off and take it with you and like
bring it with you.
What was that kid that did that and they sent him to all the Flat Anthony or whatever?
I can't remember. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Give me a really here. I got you a really nice souvenir from the Super Bowl. So. Oh yeah.
Yeah, John. See, we'll get him a hurricane. That'll be his souvenir. It's the infamous drink. I think that like you need 4 people to drink at once.
Oh yeah.
It's like a Long Island iced tea, but like strawberry margarita almost.
Right. I've been to. I
don't know. I blacked out.
Right. I've been in New Orleans once. It was a cool place. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. It was neat.
Yeah,
history. Some cool stuff. It'd be a good place to go to in February when it's freezing ass cold up here.
Awesome food there.
Yeah, the food was good. Although I think the place I went to, K-Paul's, I think closed, which was like one of the like most famous restaurants in New Orleans. But yeah, I know the stuff there. I know Brenda's down not too far from that area. She's down there on the Gulf Coast, so I'm a little jealous here. I need to make a trip down there. man, get
Lego
back
said he
to
was
the
in
ocean,
Atlanta.
so-
That doesn't seem, or in
Right.
Georgia, doesn't seem too far of a trip there
No.
too.
No, you're not far from the coast down there. A lot closer than you are in Kansas City. I know that's for a fact. But yeah, you mentioned Carson Wentz. I mean, what do we think about Carson Wentz on the Chiefs as a backup? I mean, is he a pretty solid backup? He was like an MVP candidate a few years ago, and then man, the shine like wore off of that dude quick. That went
Real
away
quick.
fast, man. But I mean, Bo, what do you think about it? Are you good with him as the backup?
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. He fell off, but I mean, he does have, a nice little resume to pull from, as far as being a guy who can get in there and get the job done. I'm really curious to see how we use him. I've heard rumors. I mean, this is internet speculation, but I've heard rumors that they're like running like little wildcat options with him as like a running back. I don't mind that idea. I mean, he's a big dude. I think he's like 6'5" or 6'6".
Yeah, no,
or
he's a
something
big
like
guy.
that. Like,
Yeah, no doubt.
not a small guy, and like that wildcat option, just another bag or another trick to add into the bag of tricks for Andy Reid. But other than that, what are you asking for in a backup quarterback on the Chiefs, really, right? That rare case scenario that you have to go in and finish out a half, or maybe something fluke happens, you have to get in there and get it done, and that's why I'm okay with him on. Like, I feel like he has the experience and the poise to be comfortable in that position, not be like, oh shit, the world's on my shoulders now, and choke, right? And
Don't screw it up. You might have to come in for
yeah,
a drive in a playoff game like Chad Henne, or
I mean, and you always can. There's always that possibility, but no, I'm confident in what I've seen from him in the past to be a good QB number 2, a good role. And then, dude, just like if you're a good person or a good professional, you're always a student of your profession, right? So like, I think that's a great room for him to get in and like just kind of pick the heads of Patrick Mahomes, Matt Nagy, the quarterback coaches, and everything in that room. So I'm okay with it. I like him. What about you, Nick?
Well, I think he's an upgrade from who was it, Blaine Gabbert last year.
yeah, I was just getting ready to ask Bo that.
Right.
I mean, upgrade from Blaine Gabbert, Bo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, all good. So I think he's an upgrade from Blaine Gabbert. He kind of was last couple times I've seen him play. He's like if all the magic things wrong, you know what I mean? Like if they just didn't work. That's kind of what I've seen from him. He tries to do too much. I think he's got a lot of talent. Like John C said. I mean, he's a big guy, right? He's a stout individual. And so I think that him getting in Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, I mean, Andy Reid's the quarterback whisperer, right? Like he's going to be able to, I think, calm some of those tendencies down and say, look, we're not asking you to go out there and do that stuff. What we're asking you to do is like, check 1, check 2, check 3, dump it to the running back or hand the ball off.
Yeah, don't make a big mistake, right? Like,
Yeah,
turn the ball
exactly.
over.
We're gonna have like a simplified offensive scheme, and what we're gonna ask you to do is just try to convert and get first downs. Right? We're not looking for home runs. We're not looking for spectacular, jaw dropping plays. And I think that that's a good place for him to be to maybe turn the corner and find some of that old mojo. I mean, he had some pretty phenomenal games and starts when he was with the Eagles, and it's kind of like after he got, I think it was
Injuries.
his knee injury or the concussion. It's just hasn't quite been the same, man. And it's sad, to see. But I think he's definitely an upgrade from what we had last year, and that's kind of our MO, right? We go with kind of like an older veteran guy that knows the locker room, knows how to come in. I mean, regardless of whether he was hurt or not, or was going to play, he was still on a Super Bowl winning team, so he understands what it's like to go through all of those games, and be around a team that's doing that. So I think it's a good move for us, and I hope that he never sees the field unless like we're up by 40 points.
Yeah, like John C. saying, maybe he could be the quarterback sneak guy, right? They used to They would motion Blake Bell in there and take the snap, and it was like the tight end sneak.
I love his comment just before that. I'll bring it up here. Like we were talking about the tight end bunches and what Andy Reid loves to do with that kind of package, right? Like put 3 out there and Carson and pitch it to him, and then have him throw to 3 tight ends right there on the line of scrimmage. I don't mind that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I right now, man, it's just like, even if your team is our man JT, I haven't seen him in here tonight, but even if your team was bad last year, like, this is like the time of year where you got all the optimism, right? Anything's possible. And we brought this guy in, this guy's coming in, and we're going to do this. And I mean, we're looking forward to a 3-peat. So it's a great time of year as football fans and training camp. Everybody's records 0-0, and the sky's the limit. And you got some new guys and brought in coaches, or you've brought in free agents, signed rookies, gone through the draft, brought guys in. Hopes are always high this time of year, and I'm excited to be seeing the guys back out in the field and seeing that red helmet with the white arrowhead on the side of it out there, man. Gets my blood going. I don't know any other way to put it. I mean, I know you guys share that same sentiment. Looks like we've got Joe in here's got a question. What do you think about Ross taking Watson snaps? Give him a chance. Thanks for stopping in, Joe. It's good to see you. Appreciate the question. Look, it's Chiefs Kingdom Live was all in on the Justin Ross hype train last year, man. Like, I don't know if you'll find a bigger proponent for that guy than me in the offseason last year. And Joe Beaumont bought his jersey. But it just never materialized last year. And part of it was the legal issues, and he got put in the exempt list, and he was out. With the struggles of Tony and Moore last year, it's even more perplexing that the guy couldn't carve out a bigger role and do more. So I don't know where I'm at on Justin Ross right now. He's a younger guy, and there's still the potential there, and we know about what he did when in that year at Clemson before injuries. We keep getting back to this injury thing, right? Like, it's a huge part of players' careers. So if it gets a guy like him opportunity and reps and gives him a chance to assimilate himself into the offense and gel with the guys, and a guy like Justin Watson, like we said, being a veteran, is already kind of familiar and is going to be on the same page with Patrick, I'm good with Justin Ross stepping in and getting some more snaps. Bo?
No, yeah. I mean, everything we said last year about him, the dude's size, his agility, his hands, everything was great about him. I mean, just a lot of unfortunate circumstances fell in his lap and just never really materialized to being a productive receiver or even like playing that much. But I'm all for it, man. I from what I see from him, I mean, still just as athletic, still just as quick and you know, just fast as fuck.
Tall guy, big guy.
But, you know, I'm also seeing like Rashid Rice taking snaps too. And, you know, I know it's like you're never not going to see him not take snaps, even when even if he's suspended. But, man, I can't tell if I'm more hyped on this receiving core this year from what I'm seeing right now versus like last year when we were, oh, man, we have 9 at our disposal. Who are we going to take kind of stuff, right? It's like a whole different feeling of excitement in the sense that, like, it's more or less like, hey, these guys are all catching and they're running like real plays and real drills right now, and nobody's fumbling. I mean, you see the occasional bad play, but that's to be expected. But like I said, just a different type of excitement, a little different than last year.
Nick, Justin Ross, thoughts on him in camp in this upcoming season?
Yeah, look, it would be a good spot to try to work him in because he's not like your number one on any of your route trees. The thing that I would question, and thing we've talked about is, Watson is like the guy that gets open deep, and he's the guy that gets open on third down a lot of the times. He's had so many big conversions for us, and so it remains to be seen if Ross has that kind of clutch, gene. But he's got all of the athletic measurables that you would want to see for
all the physical tools, no doubt.
Yeah, and so maybe that's like it sounds like it would be a good role. I mean, I think it's a good question, Joe. I'm glad you brought it up. I just it's Watson is just such a key player at key moments, and he had a couple of times last season where he had some drops, right?
Sure.
I think he had a kind of drop to lose the game type deal, but he has come through more often in those types of situations than he hasn't. So that would be the only thing that I'd want to see is how can he perform in the real time game situations when he's being asked to be that dude,
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's a good question. Bo, I know you said you kind of were wanting to jump out of here before the show started. You good to go, or you need to jump back, bounce out real quick, or?
Yeah, I got like 5-10 more. Said
You got
that
a
in
few
the
more
private
minutes?
chat. I don't know if you got that on your
Gotcha.
phone, but yeah, we're good.
No, I don't get the comments here. I'm on the phone, man. I ain't got the high tech PCs and all the technology that you guys got. So.
got a pool
Computer
table
magags.
behind him, and he's like, I can't
Laptop
afford
is
me
hot
one of
tech.
them laptops.
One of them computer majiggies. I can't,
Right.
can't get one of those guys.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I spent the computer money on the pool table, so
There you go.
yeah,
How
looking
much cue
forward
balls
to.
cost these days?
Yeah, getting ready to not as much as an 8-ball. I'm looking for. I'm looking. CKL does not endorse any kind of
English joke.
illegal
English
substance use.
2/3 of CKL doesn't, but
Right. 2/3 CKL doesn't. But yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting some watch parties going on here again this year, especially now that the curse is lifted. Right. I don't know who all remembers
Right.
the show we
Hey.
talked about or not, but first
a
few
Super
games
Bowl
like we had,
watch party
I
was
got this
held
new
at
house.
Scott's
and,
house.
Right. And the first, I want to say the first 2 or 3 games we watched here at the new house, what was that, 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago? It seems like the Chiefs lost every time I had people over. I'd call people, hey, you want to come by and watch the game? Sweet. And they're like, no, I think I'm going to stay home and watch the game.
Last time didn't go so well.
It was a real thing. I think the first game we watched at your house was that 27-3 drubbing of us by the Tennessee Titans.
For some reason, I was thinking it was the loss at home to the Chargers.
That might have been the first one, and the Titans was the
thinking
second
that was
one.
the
But
first one.
yeah,
That might have been the second one. But
Dude, you
it was,
said
it
you were
was
having
in that
the AFC
order.
you said you're having the AFC Championship game
Right.
this year, and I was just sitting there, and I thought to myself, I was like, if we lose this AFC Championship game in his house, I'm never, ever going to watch a game at his house ever again.
I remember when Scott first got his house, the excitement, like, hey, I'm having a watch party, and he'd show us like a picture of like the spread that he had,
It's all
on
set
his
up,
counter
man,
and
ready to
stuff,
go.
and then nothing
Wah,
after
wah,
the game. Just like,
wah.
hey, man, how'd the party go?
Yeah, the party was still fun, but it's more fun when they win, right? One of those things. So,
Honestly, though, that Super Bowl watch party at your house was really fun, man. Your
Yeah, it
family
was a
and
good time.
friends there.
That was great.
I've been to plenty of Chiefs games surrounded by Chiefs fans, and it was like being at a live game where you don't
Right,
have
it
to
was
say
fun.
much because whatever you want to say, somebody's right
Mhm.
there saying
Right.
it. Whether it's good or bad, aggressive or cheerful, it was right there. It was such a fun time, and your family and friends were just such dedicated Chiefs fans. It was such a
Yeah.
great experience.
It was loud. It was wild in there. My neighbors were texting me. They're like, "Damn, how many people do you have in your house? We can hear you across the street."
All of them.
So,
We got the kingdom in here.
right? Yeah, I don't know if we were.
Hey,
gonna be setting any-
they weren't quiet either. They were setting off
No, we could hear
fireworks and
that.
everything.
I
Everybody
don't-
was
I
having a
don't-
great time in your neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know if we set any Guinness Book of World Records for decibel levels, but it was pretty loud. It was a good time. So, I don't know anything else you guys want to get to. Any questions in the chat or before we get out of here tonight?
Not that I could think of.
No, you don't want to
We're
talk
in it,
about
baby.
Jamar Chase, you said, right?
I don't want to say the guy's name anymore. Look, the guy, I don't know if he's doing it for clicks, if he's really that immature, if Patrick Mahomes is just that much in the dude's head, if it's all of the above.
It's what the kids say today. He lives in Patrick Mahomes lives in his head rent free, right? Like that's
Right.
day in, day out. That's all he's thinking about.
I mean,
and
if you're
Isn't
Jamar
it
Chase,
like he's so good and he makes me so angry that I don't even want to say his name? Even a bigger compliment than just saying he's the best player.
right? Yeah, no, that's the whole rent free
Right.
thing, right? Like, I mean, if you're Jamar Chase, and if you're especially even more so if you're like Joe Burrow and maybe the Bengals coach and some of these, You really want to give the guy more bulletin board material this year, right after the "That's Who" with the 2 rings. And
how did that work out with you last year when you're like Patrick Mahomes who, right?
So for anybody watching or listening,
Who, right.
the NFL released a video. They're about to do their top 100
I'll pull
players,
it up.
and
Patrick Mahomes is gonna be number 1.
and they asked Jamar Chase who the number 1 player in the league was. So, all right, Bo, you got it queued.
Oh man, we're gonna put him on the show.
I'm not saying his name.
You guys hear that?
Yeah, you do. I'm not saying his name, brother. I'm sorry. Joe Burrow.
Oh,
I'm not saying that guy's name. He's good. He's amazing. He's good. Not gonna lie. I'm salty though. I'm a little salty. 2 years in a row. But I'm putting Burrow first.
And who's the number?
Look, at least he's owning the fact that he's salty. But I mean, I don't know if I'm the Bengals. I don't like hearing that if I'm a Bengals fan, right? I mean,
no. I like hearing it if I'm a Chiefs fan, though.
that's what I'm saying, right? Like,
Make me happy.
Love it.
He's so in your
New
head,
sound
like
bit
you're afraid to
incoming.
even say his name. Like that's it was funny. The comments on the post on X, people in there was like, "Bro, he ain't Candyman or Beetlejuice. Like, what are you? He's still gonna come in and whoop your ass even if you don't say his name, right? It's not like
No, the best. I did to explain this to Scotty because he doesn't do any fantasy stuff, but is somebody photoshopped Patrick Mahomes' face onto Voldemort? It's like you will not be named.
right. Yeah.
Uh.
That's funny stuff. But yeah, I think we're gonna bounce out of here. It was
What a
great
good
having
note
y'all.
to end on.
Yeah, no, it was a good show. Great to see y'all every week in here in the chat, especially now that training camp's underway and we got a little bit more
Yes,
stuff
thank
to
you,
talk
everybody.
about. And y'all we can't thank you enough from the bottom of our hearts. We love you, and we sure appreciate everything you do for the show. We're trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. We'd love to get there before the season, but I think the goal is to try to get there at least, by middle or definitely certainly by the end of this season.
That season goal. Yeah.
We can get there. We can get there. So click that
Be on the
like, tap
lookout
that
for
subscribe.
another. Sorry to interrupt you for this
No,
because
go
that's
ahead.
very crucial. But be on the lookout for another CKL giveaway featuring some autograph memorabilia this time, not just Chiefs memorabilia, but some autograph memorabilia.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
Bo might have bought on accident, but hey, it's going to be a cool prize for everybody. Hey, you know what I mean? I don't need 5 Isaiah Pacheco autographs, so those are going to be in the mix. I got some really cool stuff lined up this year. We're as always, we're going to have stickers, maybe something else this year, something new.
Fantasy
I'm
football
excited
league
for this next year, guys. Fantasy football league, pick'em league. Let's go.
Yep,
CKL.
pick'ems.
We got
Big-
the email address down below. Please feel free to hit us up with any questions about any of this, and we'll let you know.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. We're rooting for you, Brenda. Yeah, we ain't forgetting that. Definitely not forgetting that. So yeah, no, we're looking forward to just another fun season and doing some giveaways. And Big Doug's got to defend that crown in the Pick'em League this year, defending champion, man. Big Doug's going for back-to-back this year, and we're going to try and get the inaugural season of the CKL Fantasy Football League going, which we're going to get that happening this year. I'm confident.
That
so
will happen.
just make sure, really, if you haven't clicked like already, if you haven't clicked subscribe, tell some friends, tell some family members, help spread the word. We'll be back next week to break down all the action in week 2 of Chiefs training camp up in St. Joe. Until then, let's go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Let's go Chiefs.